to another episode of TV Toastmasters. I'm your host, Erik Bergman, and Toastmasters, along with a lot of other people, are spending a lot of time online these days. We're learning how to use video conference software like Zoom to have meetings, stay productive, and stay connected to our friends. To help you make the most out of Zoom or other video conference software that you might use, today we have a fellow Toastmaster who's going to give us some tips and tricks for how we can look our best and communicate our best when we're online. Please welcome Tom Briggs.
Thanks, Erik. It's great to be here with you today.
I appreciate that you're going to be here to tell us how we can do some simple things and use Zoom or other software for video conferencing effectively. Because we're separated so much during the coronavirus situation, we are spending more time online. And I guess you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of Zoom meetings. So first of all, give us a little of your backstory. How did you become aware of the video conferencing software? And really, what is the best use of it? What's the point of it all?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's interesting. Like many people, both for work and family, I find myself using Zoom more than I ever had before. For work, obviously sitting in on meetings, having team syncs, and then even connecting with family, whether that's across the country or, elderly, our grandparents and parents who, might not be able to get in contact with during COVID times. Zoom is a great way to have the grandkids see the grandparents. So whatever your situation, I bet a lot of people watching this are finding themselves on Zoom, video conferencing, FaceTime, Google Meet, whatever all these different video platforms are. They're just part of life and reality in this current day and age. So I've kind of, with my Toastmasters group, we've sort of made it our mission to make the most of these tools and really push them to their limits and see what they can do.
Great. Now I understand you have about 15 years of experience as a writer, editor, and a strategist working in marketing and advertising. And some of your clients have included Intel and Samsung, some of the big tech companies. What have you learned in your work that you apply to your online meetings?
Well, Erik, as a communicator and one who uses words and language and moving pictures, I find it necessary to kind of make the most of any medium. So yeah, for 15 years, I've worked at a number of different agencies here in Portland, helping all types of brands from Intel to Samsung to Elephant's Delicatessen and the Portland Jazz Festival. Really helping them get their brand message out there. And it's interesting, in working with companies like Intel and Samsung, they're obviously technology providers. They make a lot of the devices and computers and the things inside those computers that make communication like this possible. So a big part of what I've done in those last 15 years is translate sort of geek speak into things that words that human beings can understand. There's some amazing engineers here in Oregon who are creating these microchips that, if you think about it, they're really the most advanced technology, the most technology dense piece of equipment that has ever been created by man. They enable amazing things like this, everything from Zoom conferencing to playing online games to editing movies, capturing photos, so many things. But there's so much available to us. It's really it's on us to kind of get the most out of our technology and make it do what we need to do. And really, I think technology works best when it kind of moves out of the way, allows us to have that human connection and just kind of sit down together and chat. It's almost like the computer goes away, the Zoom teleconference goes away, and it's like you and I are just sitting there. So I'm trying to help my Toastmasters group and help people that I come into contact with make that happen. So it's like you and I are just sitting across the table, even though in reality we're many miles away.
Great. I really like that if we can get beyond maybe being a little intimidated or in awe of the technology and just use it to communicate, that's really great. Now, of course, to get to that point of comfort, we do have to know a little bit about Zoom. We'll assume, just for the sake of this discussion, we're talking about Zoom rather than other systems, but they will work pretty much the same. Let's see. Of course, you download, you set up your own account in this video conferencing world, and then you can start to set it up. First of all, how do we get a good internet signal, Tom? What do we need to do to make sure that we optimize the service that we have, that internet service provider? Give us the kind of the less technical description of how we do that at home.
Erik, you can think of your internet signal, it's like a utility. You get water delivered to your house through a pipe that is a certain size. If that pipe was too small, you would have a really wimpy shower in the morning without much water pressure. An internet signal and internet pipeline is pretty similar to that. The bigger your pipe, the more data is going to flow through it. So obviously, we all get internet from home or work through an internet service provider. So that's your Comcast, your CenturyLink, whoever you pay on a monthly basis to get that connection. So your first step in making sure that you're zooming from your home office or your home is as good as it can be is to look and figure out, okay, what kind of internet connection do I have? The best way to do this is to figure out what your speed is right now. So if you go to Google and type in the words speed test, a dialog box will pop up, and there's a Google speed test you can run that will evaluate 3 things for you. It'll test your connection and tell you how much that device that you're testing it on, upload speed, download speed, and latency. So those 3 things, upload speed is obviously how quickly you're sending out information. Download speed is what we all think of when we think of internet load times, how quickly a web page loads or how long you have to wait for that file to download. And then latency is sort of how quickly those signals are going back and forth between your computer at your home and the server. So that's an important number as well. You want that to be nice and low, particularly for things like online gaming and HD video conferencing. So, Erik, that's a great first step to kind of figure out where you're at. Speeds, depending upon who you work with, they'll rate your speed. You'll want to be, for uploads in the 30, if you're in 30 to 50, 30 for downloads, 50 for downloads is good. They'll give you a rating when you run your test. And then that gives you something you can go talk to your internet service provider, whether that's Comcast or CenturyLink or one of the other ones. You'll be able to tell them, hey, here's the download speed I'm getting. Can we look at a different path, or can we look at a different plan, or maybe look at upgrading this so that we can have a nice big pipe to get a lot of data going back and forth between you and them.
One thing I know from working at home and having my router in a different room is that the distance from your actual router and modem might influence your speed. So in general, you want to have your device that you're using close to where that signal is being sent from, because walls or other obstacles could slow you down a bit.
Yeah, that's very true. There are actually apps you can download that will evaluate the wireless signal. So you can put them on your phone or tablet, and you can actually walk around your house and see how strong the signal is in that room. Generally, the closer you are to your router or your modem, some people get those confused. The modem is what you rented from the cable company, the DSL company, or bought. And then the router is what takes that signal and then distributes it to your home or business. Those may be the same device depending upon what your setup is. But yeah, having that good wireless signal is what makes that last jump from that signal coming into your house to getting it to your device. So you want that signal to be good and strong as well in order to get the best quality Zoom experience.
All right, so you've determined your speed and you're located near your router. Everything is good there. Now let's talk about actually setting up Zoom so that you look your best when you're on screen. What do we do for that, Tom?
Yeah, so when you go into Zoom, you'll see, maybe depending upon whether you're using an iOS device, a Mac, or a PC, you'll either have a gear, maybe 3 icons, or it might be a menu setting that simply says settings. But jump into there, open it up, and poke around a little bit. There's a few simple things you'll want to do. You'll want to make sure that your camera is broadcasting an HD signal. So part of that is dependent upon the device you're using, the capabilities of the camera that's built into it. I'm using an iMac right here, and the camera, as with most devices, is right up here at the top of the screen. So if possible, you'll want to have a newer device, within the last 3 or 4 years, to make sure, the camera is good, the audio is good. And then just, kind of work with those settings in Zoom, turn up what you can. There's a setting in Zoom that you can turn on called it's marked with touch up my appearance. It will sort of apply a soft filter over your face. I can't promise you that it'll take, 15 years off or whatever, Eric, but it's kind of a setting that you can play with, and it gives a little bit of a soft glow, and makes the camera a little less merciless.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, so we've got our internet going and we've set up Zoom. It's time for us to take a short break. We'll be back to hear more about making the most of Zoom with Tom Briggs. So stay tuned to TV Toastmasters.
Why should you join Toastmasters? Well, I joined because I needed one more person to charter a club. And I thought, I don't need Toastmasters. I'm comfortable speaking in front of people. Boy, was I wrong. I not only learned how to speak more confidently and capably in front of larger groups of people, my wife loves the fact that I learned how to listen better. So you not only learn speaking skills, you learn listening skills and leadership skills. You build great friendships, you hear great stories, and you get over, mostly, your fear of public speaking. Why join Toastmasters? It'll make you a better person. It certainly did that for me.
We're back again with TV Toastmasters, and I'm talking with Tom Briggs. He is telling us about how to make the best use of Zoom to communicate, whether that's for business or for keeping your family connected. And Tom has been telling us about how we get Zoom set up, and now we're going to talk hardware. Tom, what did we need to know about the hardware we're using to make the most of our online video conferencing?
Well, Eric, in this day and age of Zoom, we've all sort of become our own technical directors. So in order to Zoom or video conference well, you kind of have to have a baseline of knowledge about what you're using and be able to evaluate your hardware. Obviously, the device you're using plays a huge part in the quality of the audio and sound that you can pick up, whether that's a tablet, desktop, laptop, or whatever you're using to stream. So I'm a big fan of closed-ear headphones. So this is a gaming headset. It probably looks a little bit goofy, but it has a nice microphone right here. So I know it's picking up my voice well. For other people who don't like the extra headpiece, you can get things like USB mics that sit down. They do a really good job of isolating your voice and toning out the rest of the room. So you make sure that whoever you're talking to is getting that really good audio. If you have a desktop PC and you're not too sure about the quality of the camera, or actually really a laptop, most often you'll see that built-in camera at the top of your screen. You can always upgrade. There are USB cameras available. There was actually a run on USB cameras at sites like Amazon.com and B&H recently because so many people were going to video conferencing and they wanted a better quality. So you can get an HD camera is what you're looking for. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars. Plan on spending around 100 to 130. You can get a good USB camera, probably about that for a mic as well. We'll give you a really good setup.
Right. Are there special considerations to take into account if you're using, say, a desktop computer versus a tablet or a cell phone for video conferencing?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, a desktop layout is comfortable. It allows you to sit back a little bit, open up your diaphragm. You got to imagine that if you're talking to a laptop or even a phone or a tablet, typically, think of the way you hold those. You're sort of hunched over. It's compressing your diaphragm. It can be uncomfortable. It can give you a little bit of neck strain. So when video conferencing, you can experiment with maybe taking your phone or that laptop or tablet and maybe propping it up on something like a coffee table or a TV tray. You'll want to have it about face height, so you're not looking forward or looking down. The camera always loves looking down on us. It gives you your best, it's your best angle for all of us. So just, yeah, be on guard about that and play with it, honestly. This is the biggest thing that we're experimenting with as our Toastmasters club, Wallmasters, has gone to exclusively Zoom meetings during this time of quarantine, presenting what that's like. Obviously, using hand gestures is challenging when your space is this big. People think of the y-axis and x-axis, but you also have this z-axis as well. So if you wanted to really connect with someone, you can always lean in. It's a powerful thing to do. Or if you want to show your full body, you can step back a little bit and use a little bit more motion, show more of your shoulders and head. So really, it depends upon who you're speaking to and what you're trying to convey. If you're in a team meeting, there's a certain way you present yourself versus talking to a brother or a grandson or granddaughter. You can really use it to your advantage. And Zoom or any video conference, the ultimate goal should be to achieve that human connection and really feel like if we're all doing this well, I think Zoom or Google Meet or whatever should fall away. And we should just feel as much as possible the other person sitting opposite us and really get a chance to connect with them. I think it can be really powerful.
Those are great suggestions. I've myself had trouble using gestures on Zoom because, yes, we have that limited space. One Toastmaster I know has said that she has now experimented with standing up while using Zoom because that gives her more energy. Maybe it's freeing up the diaphragm that you said so that her voice comes through, but when she can move and stand up, she feels more energetic, and that helps enliven her presentation, which can be really important if you are presenting something to a business group or an education session, something like that. I noticed you talked about the framing, and that was great, how we get to show how we can move closer or move farther back. I know if we move farther back, we may get disconnected. Our sound may go down. For myself, I use a small lapel mic that's clipped onto my shirt, and you have the headset. So I know if people are moving around, that can influence the audio.
Yeah, and there are options out there, like you said, lapel mics, if you want something that's a little less obtrusive. There's I think they call them the Journeyman or the earpieces. You can get a small mic. Pretty much, to do it well, you want to have something that's putting sound into your ears that's separate from the device that's picking up sound, because that'll eliminate echoes and feedback. Your computer can try to do that with its built-in microphone and camera with varying degrees of success. But if you want to have a really good quality audio stream, the best thing to do is to get some sort of separate mic solution.
Right, and I know people use some of the earbuds with a built-in microphone in the cable that might have come with their mobile phone. That's one way to do it. What about lighting, Tom? I know for my home studio, which I equipped at incredibly low cost using only household lights, what I have is one ceiling light above me, so that sending light down on the top of me and on the back wall, a light to my left to put light on this side because I have a window on the right with natural light coming in. So I need to balance the natural light with artificial light. And I also have a third light coming in from in front of me at about eye level. And I hope that makes me look pretty good. But I know it took a lot of experimentation. What do you have to tell people about lighting and how they should avoid too much shadow or too much brightness?
Yeah, lighting is a complex topic, and you can go down a deep rabbit hole with that, Eric. To keep it simple, the best thing you want to do, a good rule of thumb, is to keep all lights behind the camera. You want light to sort of hit you head on, or maybe from a front left or front right. Don't place any bright lights behind you. If you're outdoors conferencing or video conferencing, don't put the sun behind you because the camera is just going to get overwhelmed by that really bright light source. So in general, if you can put a window in front of you, in the home office I'm sitting at here, there's a large window here in front of me, one to my right. My left side was a little bit dark, so I brought in a lamp and illuminated that a little bit as well. So just try it out, experiment. The best thing you can do is just have multiple light sources and try and eliminate those shadows. No one's looking to do Academy Award quality lighting, but a little bit of extra light can really help make sure you're seen and help the camera pick things up.
Let's talk a little bit more about your history with Toastmasters. You come from a long line of Toastmasters, and give us, in brief, a little history about why you decided to join Toastmasters and then what you're getting out of it.
That's a very good question. Interesting fact, my granddad was in Toastmasters for quite a few years up in Olympia, Washington. I couldn't tell you the exact chapter, but got a lot out of it. And he was always equipped to give a speech, whatever the occasion. So it was on my radar, and then my father was involved in it for a while. I was poking around on LinkedIn earlier this year, and I connected with a gentleman named Cleon Cox, and he brought Toastmasters up, and it was just as quarantine was getting started. I had a little more time in the week because I wasn't commuting, and he mentioned that it might be a good time to consider it. So I poked around. He just referred me to Toastmasters.org and got on there and found a Toastmasters club that meets normally when they meet in physical presence half a mile from my house. So I got on, and it turned out to be Cleon's club. So he was pretty happy to see me there. But it's just been really welcoming, having been in Toastmasters now for about 3 months, given my opening speech and my introductory speech, and really just felt the group and just how welcoming it is. I had some background in public speaking from college and a number of other contexts, but it's just a really good thing to hone and perfect. My perception of Toastmasters was that it would make you a better public speaker, which it can, but communication and leadership, those two are so closely intertwined. I'm learning that Toastmasters is really great for equipping leaders and anyone who needs to share an idea. Sharing ideas, persuading, convincing is such an integral part of leadership that if you can dial that in and sharpen your skills in that area, can really waterfall into other aspects of your life and have great dramatic benefit.
Thank you so much, Tom. To close, can you tell us the URL where people can find out more of your tips on using Zoom? What's the URL, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I pulled together some information if anyone would like to go deeper and learn more and get guides and maybe find some good products. ZoomProTips.com. That's ZoomProTips.com. You can click over there and learn more about anything we went over today.
Great. Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of our time today on TV Toastmasters. I'm your host, Erik Bergman. I thank my guest, Tom Briggs, for telling us about Zoom. Come in and check us out again on TV Toastmasters.
Welcome to an opportunity to take the next step of your professional speaking journey. I want you to be honest with yourself. Have you ever wished you were a star in a television show? Or at an event where the media is interviewing bystanders and you are wanting to be picked to give your opinion of the event? Or even in the smallest sense, you're at a sports game and secretly hope that your smiling face would appear on that big jumbo screen TV. But the jumbo screen always finds the fans with the painted faces. And you think to yourself, maybe next time. Well, what if I can offer you a chance to be on TV? Would you take it? That is what I want to offer you now. I'm Dottie Love, Associate TV Producer and Director. Toastmasters International is one of the largest organizations whose mission is to help improve your speaking skills. And District 7 is expanding your opportunities to do speaking via television. We have 4 fully equipped television studios and TV Toastmaster broadcasts to over 500,000 homes, plus a YouTube channel. Who knew? We want to invite you to take advantage of using media and television, either in front or behind the scenes. Let me share a few options that you have. First, you can be a guest on a show. Highlight your business or hobby or your community interest. Anything you're passionate about. Be a featured guest. Secondly, you can train to be a host on an ongoing TV segment. We will train you for that. Third, what about creating your own talk show? We will train you for that as well and give you access to a community media studio to do just that. Or lastly, be behind the scenes, either running a camera or editing shows. You decide which avenue is best for you, and our TV Toastmasters team will help you to navigate to get the most out of your media experience. Personally, I've done them all. I started as a guest, went to hosting, up to directing my own TV show. I don't tell you this to impress you. I tell you this to impress upon you that your personal growth with Toastmasters is directly related to what you take advantage of. And I encourage you to be bold in looking for opportunities to stretch and grow. If this intrigues you, or if you have club members who you think that might be interested in this, please contact us here at TV Toastmasters. I'm Dottie Love, and you can reach me or any of us in the TV Toastmasters family at the contact information at the bottom of the screen. You can also find us on the web. Our website is 7512.toastmastersclub.org.